So today we're going to talk about Jupiter in Ardra nakshatra. It's Ardra nakshatra or Tiruvadirai nakshatra, as they say in Tamil Nadu or Tamil. And it's a beautiful conversation that we're going to have. I'm very excited that we're actually having this conversation. Jupiter in Tiruvadirai nakshatram in Mithuna Rashi or Mithun Rashi or in Gemini, as I say. So let's get to what is Jupiter and why is it so important that we're giving so much importance to Jupiter. Well, Jupiter is you. Many of them would say that Jupiter is for children, for gurus, your teachers, but predominantly Jupiter is you. You are Jupiter. So typically Nadi astrology was extremely popular in South India, and there they always look at Jupiter and the trine of Jupiter, which is 159. They look at it and they say, hey, what kind of person are you? They really don't look at the Lagna much. They are focused on Jupiter, on what kind of life that you would have, just based on how Jupiter is. And it makes perfect sense. I've been very comfortable doing that for a very long time, and I see the accuracy and I see the amazing insight that is there by keeping Jupiter as you. And it's just not with our culture. You would notice even gross similarities with the Chinese astrology. So Chinese astrology is completely based out of Jupiter. Jupiter stays in a Rashi for a year, and in that Rashi, it also goes retrograde and then comes back. So typically, sometime during the October time frame, it goes retrograde and again starts it finishes the retrogression and then starts its acceleration during the Jan-Feb time frame, which is where the Chinese New Year is also based out of. So just keeping that in mind about how important it was in Chinese culture, that they just gave a lot of importance to Jupiter. And similar to Nadi, where Siddhas, they pretty much, they were the so-called spiritual scientists. They came from different paths. They were just not someone who had a long history of rishis or how they were, but they were someone who meditated. They realized themselves and they said, this is what it is. So they were different than the rishis that we know of, the Sapta rishis and the lineage and the gotras that are there. That's on one side. And then you have the Siddhas, this 18 Siddhas which are there. They're on one side and they're different, and they all are similar in terms of nurturing yourself, you being a better person. It was never about predicting. It's never about saying when would you get married, when are you going to have a career or any of that. All of that is possible. But the goal was always about you. How can you be better? How can you be the master of your life? How can you make a difference? So this whole conversation is about Jupiter, and Jupiter is nothing but you. You are Jupiter. So let's go further into this conversation and start exploring more and more into Jupiter and Tiruvadirai nakshatram. And there's a lot of history in Jupiter across various cultures. So Jupiter is called, he's called Thor in a few cultures. He's called Thor, and then he's also in Zeus in the Greek, and then Jupiter or Jove. He has many names, and he's extremely prominent in those cultures. And if you look at Brihat Parashara Horashastra, Jupiter is associated with Indra. Yeah. So the mighty Indra, you have a lot of associations with Jupiter. So, and it's also goes way back. If you look at the ancient Rig Vedic texts, you have sage Angiras, who basically wanted a son very similar to Indra, and he would do anything to appease Indra because he felt Indra was really amazing and great. And Brihaspati, who was the son of Angiras, also goes and supports Indra and tries to make sure that Indra wins his battles. He's able to be a better person. He's constantly advising him. So pretty much, if you have to look at it, Indra and Jupiter have a lot of significations together. So keep that in mind as well. So it's just not about a priest who is only trying to be into appeasement, but you also have to look at the mighty king who's making a difference, because Indra is someone who has complete control or mastery over his senses. He has mastery over himself, and that true master is also Jupiter, which is you being Indra. You've controlled your senses. You being Indra, you have complete control over your senses, and you are taking this further. And that is also another aspect of Jupiter, which is about self-mastery. And that's why it's so important that what is your journey of self-mastery, where you are in this journey of self-mastery. And let's look at it from the Indra perspective as well. You even have one of the biggest text, which is Rig Veda, and the ancient Vedic text, talks a lot about Indra. Indra is worshipped as the hero, and there's so much going on with Indra there. And if you look further into it, even in Tiruvalluvar has dedicated Tirukkurals to Indra, saying that one who really controls his senses like Indra would achieve greatness like no other. So there are a lot of indications towards how amazing Indra is, barring the Puranas. And Puranas give Indra a bad rap that he has no control. He goes about, he basically lusts over other people's wife, and it's more on the Puranic versions of it, where he's lost his power, and you have the Trinity concept coming in. But if you look at the more ancient texts, you really have Indra, who's right there. And I'm not really beating around the bush. You'll basically see that how Indra and Tiruvadre Nakshatram, they're all kind of connected, and you would see how beautifully they kind of come together. So typically Indra is associated with Jyeshta Nakshatra, and Jyeshta's Nakshatra's Yogatara comes in Anuradha Nakshatra at around 16 degrees. So if I take that, and if I just drew a Navamsha of it, it'll come towards Tiruvadre Nakshatra. And if I have to look at how Indra was born, how Vishwadevas were involved, which is the Uttarada Nakshatram, and if I have to kind of start giving some, that Indra actually gains his Vajra, which is lightning, becomes a god of rain, thunderstorms, and all of that. There's a lot of similarities between Rudra and Indra, because Rudra is about thunderstorms, it's about lightning, and Indra is also very similar towards that, lightning, thunderstorms, and all of it. And so let's go a little further too. So if you go from Tiruvadre Nakshatram, Tiruvadira Nakshatram's Yogatara is somewhere around 5 degrees in the Gemini constellation, and that falls in Mrigasrirsha Nakshatram. So Mrigasrirsha is like the nakshatram right before Tiruvadira Nakshatra, and 5 degrees. And again, if I do a Navamsha of that, it comes back to Indra. So there is a nakshatra connection, there is a correlation towards that. So it just gets more and more interesting. And many actually say it's a very difficult placement when you have Jupiter in Tiruvadira Nakshatra. I, on the other hand, have a completely different perspective. I feel you should be so gifted to have Jupiter in Tiruvadira Nakshatram or in Ardra Nakshatram, as I say it. So Jupiter in Ardra Nakshatram is, Ardra ruled by Rudra is called the mightiest of mighty. So mightiest of mighty nakshatra and the mighty planet Jupiter coming together. So you know that right off the bat, extremely powerful. So this person's extremely powerful. And power could be interpreted in many ways. Power could be physical power, could be mental, could be spiritual, could be political, could be any of that. But it's someone who's of great deal of power. And that's exactly what that is. And if I have to say that if we take it even further, which is Jupiter in Tiruvadira Nakshatram, now it starts getting interesting. So we start looking at who is exalted in Gemini constellation. So astrology is just not one data point that you look at. It's basically a confluence of multiple aspects coming together. So it's just not about, oh, it's in Tiruvadira, so let's only focus on that. So you got to look at what degree is Jupiter in, what Rashi is the Jupiter in, and how far is Jupiter from the Lagna. And you also look at it in terms of what kind of sign. So where is the Rashi Lord? And where is the nakshatra Lord? How are they? So all this gives you more of how the quality of Jupiter is, or what kind of influences that are there. And you could get better and better at it in terms of adding more data points to it. So it doesn't confuse you. It just gives you more perspective, saying this is where it comes to, and then it starts coming together. It's called the confluence. So from a Rashi perspective, look at where Mercury is placed. Look at where Mercury is placed. If Mercury is placed very well, which is if it's in Gemini, or if it's placed in Virgo, then you know that the Rashi Lord has a very good perspective on where the Jupiter is sitting. And it also gives you permanent drishti. So there is something called aspects. Every planet has aspects. So you have drishti through aspects. Drishti is also called in terms of aspects, like what kind of, where am I looking at? So that becomes aspects. Drishti is very similar. It's a Sanskrit word or an Indian word of saying drishti is like the eyesight of how the planet sees you. So you have planets drishti, and planets are nothing but grahas, and they're constantly in motion, they're constantly moving. They're not going to be static in one place. They're going to be moving forward or backward based on their retrogression or progression. But Rashi drishti is permanent, which is, so you look at Mercury and you have these signs. You have three types of signs. You have fixed, cardinal, and mutable. So all mutable signs are going to aspect each other. So Mercury is exalted in Virgo. And if Mercury is sitting in Virgo, then it has a permanent drishti towards all the mutable signs. The other mutable signs are Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. So, and Mercury exalted, and looking at Jupiter, it's going to give this person very sharp intellect. Ardras are already super sharp. They are highly intelligent and they are mighty, powerful. And you're also going to get the a beautiful, superb aspect of analytics, calculation, being very sure about themselves from Mercury. And then comes the most interesting part, Rahu. Everyone loves Rahu because there's so much mystery, there's so much things that we don't understand fully about it. And it's a mixture of many things. It's a mythology, black hole, there's scientific, there's spiritual, there's mystery, mythological, there's so much to it. So, and Rahu's there's a lot of debatable positions for Rahu. Some say Rahu's exalted in Virgo, some say Rahu's exalted in Taurus, and some also say Rahu's exalted in Gemini. So if Rahu's exalted in Gemini, then we'll have to see for Jupiter to do very well. Also look at the exaltation planet. That's really going to help Jupiter. For example, if Jupiter is going to be in Karaka, which is Kataka, which is Cancer in English, you look at Moon, because Moon owns that sign, and then you see where is Moon placed. So you see if Jupiter is well placed, and then Jupiter is exalted in Kataka. So then you see, okay, this is a great sign for him. Or let's look at Jupiter in Aries. So what you will do is you look at Mars to see if the house where Jupiter is it stable, is it good? You will also look at the Sun, because Sun is exalted in Aries. So if Sun is looking at Jupiter and Mars is also looking at Jupiter, then there's a lot of strength and power and position that can be consolidated for Jupiter. So that's again the principles of confluence coming in. So here we are going to look at Rahu as well. We're going to see where Rahu is placed. One of the great placements would be if Rahu is also in Virgo or Gemini. So let's say Rahu is in Virgo, sitting with Mercury, with whom he is very good friends with. And again, permanent Rashi Drishti goes to Jupiter. So here, Jupiter not only gets a lot of stability from Rashi, even from a nakshatra aspect of it, he starts getting that from Rahu. So this kind of Jupiter would be extremely powerful, very stable, and he would achieve all his goals, whatever it is. And this is a person who is master of all. Anything he would be great at, he would be brilliant at. There's not one specific thing that he's going to look at. Anything he's going to be brilliant at. And we're also going to go further into what house placements is this going to be. So trinal aspects would be first house. If it's first house, then just being there with your body, you would have all these activated. You will have these aspects right there. You bring wherever you take your body along, you would be there. Or you more of the head, you start using your brain, then you're right there. The other thing would be fifth, 159. So let's just look at 159. So Jupiter in fifth house, which is even more beautiful because your heart. So whatever you feel from your heart, you do what you love. You do what you feel is creative. And Jupiter loves the fifth house. In some places, he's also called Mannavan, Ponnavan, Vallavan. So he's someone that it's like a king, right? So heart is where the king is. So here, whatever you love doing, whatever you have a sense that you love doing this, you go ahead and do it. Meditation would work wonders here because meditation is also associated with the fifth house. And not too much on the religious side of it because that would come under the ninth house. But fifth house is more about you. And remember, Jupiter is you. You are Jupiter. So whatever you do to nourish yourself, to kind of meditate, know about you, or create yourself, any creative self-expression becomes awesome for Jupiter here. So this kind of Jupiter is just going to get better and better and better. Now the simple way of activating Jupiter even further would be the Rudra Gayatri. So if I just, I know many of you would know the Rudra Gayatri. Rudra, who's basically the deity of Ardra nakshatra or Tiruvadare nakshatra, just chanting the Rudra Gayatri is just going to calm you down. It's just going to give you that sense of, I got this. And it's for many of you who don't know the Rudra Gayatri, it's how it goes. It goes with Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. So it's basically going more and more towards the Rudra and saying that, hey, I'm right here. Let me be as amazing as you. Because Jupiter is you, self-mastery, and you're using Rudra as a space like, how can I get better? How can I be the Tat Purusha? Tat is nothing but the best version, the ultimate version. And how can I be the best version of myself? And Rudra, guide me, take me there. So that's a great way for you to channelize yourself. It's a great way for you to bring that Rudra aspect to yourself. The other one is the Indra aspect. So, like I said, confluence. Look at things from multiple aspects. Don't just get focused on just one. You could do many. Just like Jupiter's Drishti. It's just not about 1 and 7. It's about 1, 5, 7, 9. So be that. So for the Indra aspect of it, it's slightly a longer mantra. So maybe you could go through this video again and again and again so that you get a better sense of Jupiter and Indra. It goes this way. Indra Shreshta Nitravina Nidehi Chittim Dakshasya Subhagatvam Asme Posham Rainam Arishtim Tanonam Swatmanam Vachasodinatvam. So this is the Indra mantra. So you could do both. You could start with Indra, go with Rudra Gayatri. You could go with Rudra Gayatri, start with Indra. So you could kind of do this. This would strengthen further and further. And also, this is more of an introductory video to it. I'm planning to do more in terms of going further in terms of how Jupiter would go better with friends, how to take aspects of it. Now here, let's not just look at friends, enemies, debilitation, exaltation, because it's all about your self-mastery. Some people choose a more challenging path, some people choose a more longer path, some people choose an easier path, a more luxurious path, a fabulous path. So there are no judgments here in terms of how it's done, but it's basically trying to understand that you are on your own path towards self-mastery. So if you keep it that way, then it becomes beautiful that you, of your many, many lifetimes, have chosen this, have chosen a certain Rashi, have chosen this certain nakshatra, and in a certain house position. So if it's first house, it's going to be your head, second house, it's going to be your face, third house is going to be your arms, your neck and arms, then fourth house is going to be more on the chest region, fifth house is going to be your heart, sixth house is going to be on the stomach, gut region, seventh house is more on near the genitals, eighth house is actually the genitals and a little bit on the thigh, ninth is going to be on the thigh, 10th is going to be your knees, calf muscles is 11th house, then 12th is going to be your feet, and that's, so you could look at how it all plays with. So if you're someone with Jupiter in 12th house, you are maybe not so connected with your soul, with your activities, because first house is you, 12th house is far from you. So you see soul as something of a distant future, or maybe the more you activate, you love walking, you could be a marathon person. The more you run, the more you go with, you feel you're in rhythm, you're in tune with it. 11th house could be that you feel yourself, that Jupiter in your 11th house, you feel yourself when you're in large social gatherings, you feel that, yes, this is me, this is who I am. And a lot of people appreciating you and giving you that sense of money, freedom. You feel, yes, I got this. Or Jupiter in 10th could be that I work. My work is my worship. And so you have different aspects of these where based on how the house is, you will know more about yourself. And from there, your path of mastery would go further and further into it. So that's all I want to talk about for this part of the video. Let's keep this as part 1. We will explore further of this Jupiter in Ardra nakshatra. I'll maybe do 3 videos on it just to make it as exhaustive as possible. Like, comment and share. And I'm also available for astrological consultations for businesses who are doing well or businesses who want to do much better. I've listed my number. You can reach me out through WhatsApp. So you could look at, you would want to make your business better, reach out to me on WhatsApp. We could look at how you could make your business better. Or if you're looking to progress further into your career, let's also look at that aspect. For now, I'm pausing any relationship queries or consultations on relationships because I want to take it a little further, but at a later point in time. But now the focus is only going to be on making more money, better money through businesses. And also you want to progress further into your career, then let's start having conversations there. And if you have any questions, please comment below. I'll try my best to respond to it. And if you love this video, please like, share and subscribe. And thanks for watching Astro Indra channel. Astro Indra. It's intentional. And you could also reach out to me through Rudrasya Indra or Indrasya Rudra. All done intentionally, so that because I love just talking about this, so we could go further into it. And thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.